The Great Depression was caused in large part by the actions of the Republican administrations of the 1920s. What Trump is doing now is strikingly similar, with terrifying potential consequences, from economic to war, playing out before us. Here's a breakdown. The conditions between the 20s and today are uncannily similar. The Roaring '20s, like today, had booming stock markets and minimal regulation, which led to risky speculation. In addition, tax cuts for the wealthy and deregulation fueled massive wealth inequality, and reductions in government oversight led to the rich getting richer and richer. In 1929, the U.S. passed the Smoot-Hawley tariffs, raising taxes on imports to protect American industries. Other countries retaliated, global trade slowed, and the economy spiraled into a downturn. Sound familiar? Yep, protectionism is back. Trump's erratic tariffs on Canada, Mexico, China, and soon the EU are disrupting global markets, leading to retaliatory tariffs and now a global trade war, and turning allies into foes. The 1920s also saw a Republican-dominated executive, Congress, and the courts. Pro-business policies flourished, and the Supreme Court struck down many worker protections, siding with businesses. Today, a conservative Supreme Court has enabled Trump with broad executive immunity, and now a weak Congress, unwilling to check the executive's power and add in Elon Musk's influence, have all led to a dangerous potential to shape the political landscape once again. In the 20s, wealth became concentrated at the top, while wages for ordinary workers stagnated. When the market crashed, millions were left with nothing. Today, the richest 10% own more wealth than ever before, while wages struggle to keep up with inflation. Broad cuts to the federal government and threatened reductions to Medicaid are leading to an erosion of social services, all to support tax breaks for the wealthy, further mirror the conditions that preceded the Great Depression. Before the Great Depression, banks took reckless risks with little oversight. When the market crashed, thousands of banks failed, wiping out average American savings overnight. Today, while banking regulations strengthened after 2008, recent rollbacks have increased risk again. The collapse of several banks in 2023-2024 raises concerns about financial stability, with a few banks being too big to fail. The 1920s were rife with corruption. Scandals like Teapot Dome exposed officials using government power for personal gain. As economic inequality grew in the 1920s, frustration boiled over. Strikes, protests, and political radicalization increased as people struggled to get by. Today, similar unrest is growing. Protests over wealth inequality, climate change, and government policies show that many Americans feel left behind, just as they did a century ago. Today, political scandals continue. Allegations of self-enrichment, corporate favoritism, and attacks on democratic norms raise serious concerns about accountability and ethics in government. After the market crash of 1929, economic hardship spread worldwide and in large part helped fuel the rise of authoritarian leaders like Hitler and Mussolini. Nationalism and economic hardship made people desperate for strong leaders who promised simple solutions, leading to the devastation of World War II. Today, authoritarian tendencies are on the rise again. Attacks on the press and perceived political opponents, the politicization of the entities designed to check the power of the executive, and efforts to weaken democratic institutions echo this dangerous past. Today, economic instability and geopolitical conflicts are growing. Trade disputes, tensions with China and Russia, and political polarization raise the question, are we heading for a similar global crisis? The Great Depression didn't happen overnight. It was the result of years of policies that ignored growing risks. By the time the collapse came, it was too late. Today, the warning signs are flashing again. Will we learn from history, or are we doomed to repeat it? If you have concerns about these changes, contact your representatives by calling 202-224-3121. Stay informed, stay engaged.